Hey y'all, it's Eli with Cooking for Everybody. Today I'm coming back. I'm going to tell you guys the secret to the creamiest spaghetti you've ever had. We're going to make this with two different kinds of noodles, regular pasta, and then we're also going to make some zucchini noodles. So I'm going to go ahead and put the pasta in to cook while we're talking. Alright y'all, here's our ingredients for the creamiest spaghetti. We've got about a pound of ground chuck here. We're going to brown that over in a minute. We've got 2 cans of spaghetti sauce. This is 2 different flavors. Gives you a lot of diversity in the pot. I'll also use a can of spaghetti sauce mix. I'll just mix that right in with the 2 cans along with just a little bit of water. Got a can of Rotel, can of sweet corn, you got to drain this. Can of mushrooms, you also have to drain this, and a can of water chestnuts. This gives you a really nice crunch in your spaghetti. You got to drain these as well. For our vegetables, we just have half of a Vidalia onion. We've got a green pepper. We're going to seed that, chop both of those up, and then 4 garlic cloves I'll put in the pot with my garlic press. So while your spaghetti noodles are cooking, you can go ahead and prep your vegetables. Just dice them up however big you want them in your bites. I like to still be able to see it on the fork when I'm eating my spaghetti, so I don't really make them small. Easiest way to seed a green pepper is just cut it in half, pop the seeds right out. Okay, we have roughly chopped all of our vegetables. Just push those off to the side. Go ahead and open up your cans. I don't know how many of you guys have ever made zucchini noodles. You can buy these frozen at the grocery store. It's kind of an outrageous price to pay for something frozen when you can make it yourself in just a couple of minutes. You just take the zucchini, rinse it, of course, chop both of the ends off. They make little contraptions. You can spiralize this just with your hands. I've got one, paid like $14 on Amazon for it. It's awesome. It's got little suction cups. Just push this back, fit it on, push it on to the other end, and then you just push it on. This makes your spiralized zucchini in no time. So you can see we've got quite a bit of noodles out of just one zucchini that costs like 60 cents versus $4 for a bag of frozen ones. You're really gonna have to salt the far out of these because they are full of liquid. If you don't salt them, you're gonna have really juicy spaghetti and not the right way. So put more salt than you think you need on these. You gotta let them sit in the sink for about 20 minutes. That'll draw all the excess moisture out of them. Then you go back over to them and squeeze them in a paper towel, and then you cook them for about 2 minutes. They're still gonna be al dente. You don't want them to be mushy, but you also don't want them to be crunchy. Alright y'all, we've been cooking our noodles for about 10 minutes. I don't really like al dente pasta, so I'll let them cook until they're soft. A good trick, if you're afraid your noodles are going to bubble over from all the starch, just leave a wooden spoon right on top. It won't bubble over, won't get all over your stove. So go ahead and drain your noodles, and then we'll start on the rest of the sauce. One good way to keep your noodles from sticking together while you're cooking your sauce is just to put a little bit of butter in them. It doesn't have to be parquet, it can be anything. Just enough to coat the noodles, stir it around, and that'll keep them from clumping together on you. So for the sauce, we're just going to put a little bit of olive oil in the bottom of our pot. Go ahead and add in your ground beef. You can also use pork if you want. I found this super handy little meat chopper a couple months ago at the dollar store. Really helps you to get all the meat broken up into small pieces. While your meat's browning, you can go ahead and add in your vegetables. Just let them sit on top. Don't stir it yet. Let your meat kind of cook through before you stir this all together. Those vegetables are going to release some water, so let this cook maybe 5 minutes. Everything should be browned through by then. The vegetables should be starting to get tender. Alright y'all, it's been 5 minutes or so. Time to come back in, stir up the meat and all the vegetables. Your meat's had enough time to start browning. It's about 3/4 of the way done here, so we still got a few minutes to go before we add the rest of the ingredients. But now we can go ahead and start seasoning the meat. For that, we're just going to use some pepper, oregano leaves, about a teaspoon, garlic powder, about a teaspoon, and onion powder, also about a teaspoon. Alrighty y'all, it's been 5 minutes. Our meat is done, our vegetables are tender. Now you're going to want to go ahead and add in your garlic cloves. If you guys don't have a garlic press, I highly recommend you get one. They're really cheap. They're very easy to use. You don't have to chop all the garlic up. So just saute that for a minute down here in the remnants of the meat and the vegetables. Last thing you want is burnt garlic. That's why we're doing this right at the end of cooking the meat. Okay y'all, it's been about 3 minutes. We sauteed our garlic up. It is nice and fragrant. It is not burnt. You never want to burn your garlic. Now you're just going to mix all this up really good. And if you so desire, now is the time to drain the grease off the meat. So if you decide to drain your meat, depending on what kind of meat you got, you might not have too much fat in it. I had a few tablespoons, so I'm glad I drained it. Now you just add in the rest of your ingredients. No real rhyme or reason for what you add first. Always mix in just a little bit of water to get the rest of this sauce out of the jar. So once you've got everything put in here, just mix it up really well. I know y'all are wondering what I was talking about when I said creamy spaghetti. Wait just a minute, I'll show you. go ahead and show you guys what the secret ingredient is to really creamy spaghetti. Cream cheese. Whole block of it. It's delicious. You gotta try it. So just dump your cream cheese down in here, kind of submerge it a little bit. You're gonna need to let it cook for about 10 minutes before it starts to break down and you can mix it up. So at this point, you wanna lower your temperature down so that way you don't scorch on the bottom. You wanna cover it up, set your timer for about 10 minutes. Alrighty y'all, timer's up. The sauce is nice and hot, bubbling, heated through. Now you can go ahead and incorporate your cream cheese. This is all gonna break up perfectly because now it's hot and even creamier. Y'all can see how the sauce has gone to a nice orange color. Every bite of this sauce is gonna have cream cheese in it and it's gonna be amazing. You just need to let it sit for about 5 more minutes on the same heat setting, let everything incorporate, then we're gonna work on our zucchini noodles and eat. Then 5 minutes, everything is nice and incorporated. All the flavors are gonna be mixed together and married. This sauce is gonna be perfect. It's a great consistency. It's not too runny, and it's definitely not thick either. So, go ahead and set this over to the side. Grab you a small skillet. Turn your heat up a little bit. Put you just a little dab of butter in there. We got probably about half a cup of water out of these. Now they are not super full of water. They're perfect. Go ahead and put them in with your butter. Saute these around for 2 to 3 minutes until they are to your preferred doneness. Make sure you don't overcook them because they'll turn to mush. Alrighty y'all, zucchini noodles are done, sauce is done. We're gonna go ahead and plate them up. Look how good that looks, you guys. Got our spots of cream cheese in here, our kernels of sweet corn. And then if you wanna go a little crazy with it, add you some more cheese. You can never have too much cheese. Once your cheese is melted just a little bit, mix it up some, take you a bite. This is for those who are not watching carbs. That's creamy and delicious. Y'all have got to try this with cream cheese. Now, for those of us who are watching carbs at least twice a week, here is some spaghetti with more cream cheese and zucchini noodles. It doesn't taste any different than regular pasta. It's just a little bit al dente. Some people that might freak you out with texture, but to have a nice plate of spaghetti without all the carbs is definitely worth it. If you guys don't like corn, you can definitely leave the corn out. If you don't like cream cheese, you can leave it out. I suggest trying it though, because it's the creamiest spaghetti you're ever gonna eat. Now everybody get to cooking. Stop recording.